Part 1. The Candidate. You don't choose GRU Spetsnaz. It chooses you. The selection begins long before you even know it's happening. Military draft offices and special unit officers watch potential candidates for months. They're not just looking for physical strength. They want psychological stability, the ability to handle stress, a certain kind of mindset. Preference often goes to guys from rural areas, the ones who grew up in villages, who've seen livestock slaughtered, who've done hard physical labor since childhood, not because they're cruel, but because they don't faint at the sight of blood. Soft, sheltered city kids are usually cut in the first round. At your medical evaluation, 2 notes appear in your file. The first is visible, fit for airborne service. The second is classified, fit for Spetsnaz. You don't know about the second note. You're not supposed to. Then the tests begin. Psychologists conduct interviews. Psychiatrists observe from a distance. Officers from special departments ask questions that seem harmless. In reality, they're mapping your mind, looking for cracks, weak spots, pressure points. Anyone with mental instability is eliminated immediately. If you pass every check, you're sent to the only training center that prepares GRU Spetsnaz. It's located in Pechory, in Russia's Pskov region. From the outside, it looks like an ordinary military base. No signs, no markings. Just a concrete fence and a checkpoint guarded by soldiers with rifles. Inside, they train one type of soldier, a reconnaissance saboteur, the workhorses of military intelligence, the ones who go in first and come out last. If they come out at all. The training center has 5 companies, 2 reconnaissance companies, about 120 men each, 1 anti-tank guided missile operator company, 2 signal companies, radio and communications specialists. At this stage, they even test for musical hearing. If you have a good ear, you're automatically sent to radio school. Some recruits pretend to be tone deaf to avoid it. Radio operators work in the rear. Recon goes forward. You arrive in November. Winter training starts immediately. 10-kilometer runs every day, dips on parallel bars until your arms give out, pull-ups until your palms tear and bleed, hand-to-hand combat from morning to night, live fire with every weapon used in the infantry. That's just the warm-up. The real training hasn't even begun. Part 2. The Cadet. November in Pechory. You're standing inside the barracks, and the instructor silently studies the group. He doesn't need to speak. His stare says everything. You're not a person here. You're raw material, about to be reforged. The first thing you notice is the silence. In Spetsnaz, they don't scream at you like they do in regular basic training. They don't have to. A look is enough. You quickly learn to understand orders without words. The schedule is brutal. Réveillé at 6 a.m., lights out at 11 p.m., but you're lucky if you get 4 hours of sleep. The rest is training, running, running, running. Every day starts with a 10-kilometer run, in any weather, snow, rain, black ice. Your uniform soaks through and freezes against your skin. But you keep moving. Stopping isn't an option. If you fall, you get up and keep running. If you fall behind, you catch up. No one waits. Then come the parallel bars and the pull-up bar. Push-ups and pull-ups to failure, until your muscles shake, until your arms stop responding. The instructor stands nearby, counting. If you quit early, you start the entire set over. In the first week, 10 men are gone. Some break mentally. Some get injured. Some just stop mid-run and say they can't go on. They're taken away. You never see them again. Hand-to-hand combat is daily. Sparring until first blood. sometimes until second. You learn to endure pain, not just endure it, but function through it. When your shoulder's half dislocated, you get up and keep going. When your ribs grind with every breath, you still move forward. Marksmanship is different here. You shoot after the run when your hands are shaking from exhaustion. You shoot in the dark, on the move, from a fall, from a roll, from awkward, unstable positions. The rifle slowly becomes an extension of your body. You learn to field strip and reassemble it with your eyes closed. In combat, there may be no light. Radio operators spend 6 hours a day wearing headsets, receiving Morse code. Buzzing, static, high-pitched tones. By evening, your head feels like it's splitting open. One mistake in a signal can cost the entire team their lives. Recon trainees study maps and land navigation. Night marches through the forest without a compass, just the stars and natural markers. Get lost, and you freeze. Stragglers aren't searched for. 2 weeks in, something strange happens. You realize the 10-kilometer run no longer feels endless. The pull-up bar isn't your enemy anymore. The rifle sits in your hands like it's always belonged there. You're starting to change. Part 3. The Cadet. The trials. Second month. You've stopped counting the days. Now you exist in cycles. Reveille, run, range, hand-to-hand, lights out. In between, there are short gaps where your body just drops and shuts down. You sleep in fragments, an hour, maybe 2, and wake up already moving, already running. The instructors start adding psychological pressure. One night, they wake you, drag you out of your bunk, and form you up outside. It's minus 20 degrees. You're standing there in underwear and a t-shirt, teeth chattering uncontrollably. The instructor stands in front of you, silently watching his watch. 5 minutes, 10, 15. No one moves. No one asks why. By now, you understand. Questions aren't asked here. After 20 minutes, the order comes to return to the barracks. You lie down, but you can't sleep. Your body won't stop shaking. 3 hours later, reveille again. By the 3rd month, forced marches begin with full combat load. The rucksack weighs around 90 pounds. Rifle, ammunition, communications gear. It's all on you, and you move. Not walk, run. Through forest, through swamps, knee-deep in freezing water. The first 6 miles, you still feel your legs. After 9, they stop existing. You move on instinct. Stopping means you're out. No one waits for stragglers. The instructor runs beside you with a pack heavier than yours. He doesn't look tired. In that moment, you hate him, but you keep running. After the march, it's back to the range. Your hands shake from exhaustion, but you still have to hit your targets. The instructor stands behind you, recording every mistake. You shoot until you're out of ammo. Then you clean your weapon. Then another march. In the 4th month, live fire exercises begin. The team is inserted into the forest. Mission: locate a mock enemy supply cache. Seize documents, neutralize security. You're issued blanks. The instructors carry live rounds. A positioning mistake could cost a life. The team moves at night. 4 men. Communication is nothing but hand signals and breath. You can hear your heart pounding against your ribs. At the objective, engineers clear tripwires. You cover your sector. In your earpiece, the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Execute. You breach. Darkness, silhouettes, shouting. You operate on instinct. Move, sight picture, fire, roll. Exactly how you were trained. When it's over, you're sitting on the ground trying to process the fact that it was only an exercise. By the end of the 4th month, out of 120 candidates, 40 remain. Part 4. The Graduate. 5th month. You barely remember who you used to be. Your body is stripped down to the essentials. The fat is gone. What's left is tendon, muscle, and skin stretched tight across your cheekbones. You rarely look in the mirror. The person staring back feels like a stranger. Eyes hollow, focused somewhere beyond you. You're called into the instructor's office, ordered to sit. He tells you you've made it. You passed selection. Congratulations. You don't react. After 4 months, words don't mean much anymore. He explains the next step. 3 paths. First, recon. The places where shots are fired for real. Insertions, ambushes, sabotage, life in the field, sleeping in the dirt. 5 years before you rotate out, if you're lucky enough to come back. Second, special communications, radio operators and cryptographers. Still dangerous, but usually behind the lines. You keep the team connected. People die there too, just less often. Third, instructor. Stay in Pechory. Train the next wave of candidates. Promotion in a year. A service apartment in 3. A stable life. A quiet one. You have until morning to decide. Back in the barracks, the others are asleep. Some have already chosen. Some will choose tomorrow. You sit on your bunk, staring at the wall. You think about why you came here in the first place. Your father and his old photographs. Friends who never came back from Chechnya. The instructor who ran beside you on that first forced march and never said a word. Morning comes. You give your answer. Recon. The instructor nods. No smile, no emotion. He says, now you're real. You and 12 others are sent to personnel. Papers are signed. A non-disclosure agreement. A 5-year contract. Documents that mean you can never tell anyone where you served, what you did. The personnel officer lays it out clearly. No talking about your service. Not to your wife, not to your mother, not to your children. If anyone asks, you served in a standard reconnaissance unit, military unit number this and that. Everything else is classified. A week later, you deploy to your new assignment. The unit is deep in the forest. Concrete perimeter, armed guards at the checkpoint, triple document checks. Inside, it looks like any other base. Barracks, mess hall, headquarters building. But the people are different. They don't march in formation. They don't shout greetings. They just watch, measuring you. Quiet, focused. The same look you saw back at the medical board when that second note was added to your file. The unit commander briefs you. Training is over, he says. Here, you don't run practice miles. You don't grind out reps on the bars. Here, you work with live missions, real bullets, and real opponents who intend to kill you. You answer, yes, sir. He replies, we'll see. A new phase begins. Part 5, the team leader. 3rd year of service. You're appointed team leader. It's not the kind of promotion you celebrate. It's the kind you carry. You now command 8 men. Their lives depend on your decisions. You remember your first commander. You remember the mistake he made. You remember the smell of blood and the 2 who didn't come back. Those memories stay with you every day. The group's readiness is your responsibility now. Their marksmanship, their conditioning, their psychological compatibility. If someone falls behind, you work with him personally. If someone breaks, you make the call to remove him. Training gets harder. You push them the way you were pushed. Night marches. Live fire until their hands split open. Hand-to-hand drills without weekends. You don't ease up on anyone, including yourself, because you know the difference. A mistake in training is a lesson. A mistake in combat is a death. Your first mission as team leader comes a month after your appointment. Standard task: recon a convoy route, identify potential ambush points, operating behind enemy lines cut off from main forces. The team deploys for 72 hours. You constantly monitor movement, check bearings, listen to the radio traffic. Sleep comes in fragments, maybe an hour at a time. The rest is movement and observation. On the second day, you pick up signs of a militant group, about 15 men, moving on a parallel course. You decide not to engage. The mission takes priority. You transmit the coordinates to command. 6 hours later, air assets strike the grid. You hear the distant blasts beyond the horizon and move your team out. You return without casualties. At headquarters, they tell you, "Good work." You nod. Inside, there's nothing. You did your job. That's all. That evening, you check your personal weapon, clean it, oil it, safe it. Tomorrow, another mission. The day after, another one. And it goes on like that until the contract ends. Or you do. Part 6. Loss. 5th year of service. Your 10th mission as team leader. The task is routine. An ambush on a weapons convoy. Intelligence did its job. Route confirmed. Timing confirmed. Estimated security detail confirmed. Your team moves into position a day early. You dig in, camouflage, and wait. The convoy arrives on schedule. 3 cargo trucks, 2 pickup trucks mounted with heavy machine guns. The column rolls into the kill zone. You give the signal. The first burst takes out the lead gunner. The second disables the rear vehicle. Your team moves like a machine. Short bounds, shifting positions, controlling sectors. 15 minutes later, it's over. It takes another 30 to inspect the cargo. Rifles, ammunition, cash. You load the captured trucks and begin exfiltration. They're waiting for you at the mouth of the gorge. An IED detonates beneath the lead vehicle. The blast throws you into the ditch. You lose consciousness for a few seconds. When you come to, it's chaos. Gunfire, shouting, the smell of burning metal and flesh. Your men are fighting, surrounded. There are far more hostiles than expected. Your radio is destroyed. No comms with command. You make the call, break contact on foot, abandon the vehicles. You gather the team. Head count, 3 missing. 2 are concussed but still standing. 1 is nowhere in sight. You move back under fire and find him near an overturned truck. Call sign Malloy, 23 years old, 3rd deployment. He's still breathing when you reach him. Shrapnel severed an artery in his leg. You apply a tourniquet, tighten it, pack the wound, but the bleeding won't stop. Malloy looks at you in silence. He doesn't feel the pain anymore. You lift him onto your shoulders and carry him back toward the others. Bullets snap past, but you don't stop. You carry him because he's yours. Because you're the commander. 30 minutes later, you break contact and lose the pursuit. Malloy hasn't been breathing for 20 minutes. You keep carrying him anyway. Until one of your men places a hand on your shoulder and quietly tells you it's time. You bury him in the forest. No coffin, no priest, no rifle volley, just stones stacked high enough to keep the animals away. You record the coordinates. Then you lead the team out. Back at base, you file the report. Under casualties, you enter a single number, 1. Then you go to the barracks. Pack Malloy's belongings, ship them home to a mother who was expecting him back by New Year's. That night, you don't sleep. You sit in the dark, staring at a photograph taken 6 months earlier. The whole team standing together. Malloy is smiling in it. Forever. Morning comes with new orders. Deployment in 48 hours. You form the team up. You look into the eyes of the men who remain. They look back. No one says a word. Part 7, Intelligence Officer. 8th year of service. You're transferred to headquarters. It's not a reward. It's a necessity. Your body isn't what it was at 25. Your knees ache after every march. Old broken ribs flare up when the weather changes. You can still work in the field, but there are men now who are younger, faster. The headquarters sits in the same forest, behind the same concrete perimeter, but now your workspace is an office filled with monitors, maps, and communications gear. You plan the operations others will carry out. The job is different. There's no gunfire, no smell of cordite, no adrenaline spike, only information. Human intelligence reports, intercepts, satellite imagery, drone feeds. It all has to be gathered, verified, cross-referenced, and turned into a mission brief for a team that will execute it. You sit in the operations room when they deploy. You sit and listen to radio traffic in your headset. You count the minutes between scheduled check-ins. You can't help them, can't cover them, can't pull them out. You can only wait. The first month, the waiting drives you insane. Then you adjust. You realize your job matters just as much. A good plan saves more lives than body armor ever could. 6 months in, something happens you'll never forget. A team deploys based on your intel package. According to the plan, they should be back in 48 hours. Day 1, silence. Day 2, silence. Day 3, still nothing. You don't sleep the third night. Your eyes burn. Your head pounds. But you stay at your station. If they break radio silence, you have to be there. They finally transmit on day 4. Mission accomplished. But there are losses. 2 KIA. You write down the extraction coordinates with a hand that won't stay steady. You issue the follow-on orders. Then you step outside the building, sit down on the cold ground, and stare up at the sky. 2. Not coming back. At the funeral, you stand off to the side. People approach you. They say it wasn't your fault. You nod, but you don't believe them. You built the intel. You shaped the plan. That means the weight is yours. You get home late. Your wife is already asleep. The kids have barely seen you this month. You walk into the kitchen, pour yourself some tea, and stand by the window. Tomorrow there will be another briefing, another objective, another team walking out the gate based on your plan. And it goes on like that. Until it doesn't. Part 8. The Unit Commander. 15th year of service. You command the unit now. An office with your name on the door. A staff car with a driver, a personal aide, colonel's insignia. Rank that once felt unreachable. Now it's just part of the uniform. More than 500 personnel under your authority. Officers, warrant officers, contract soldiers, recon teams, signals, instructors, staff. You know every face. You remember where they came from, what injuries they carried, how they performed on their qualification tests. You sign the orders for their assignments, their promotions, their commendations, and you sign the death notifications, 27 names, 27 faces that will never fade. They come at night. Sometimes they just look at you. Sometimes they ask why. You don't have an answer. Being a unit commander isn't the movies. You don't run missions. You don't fire machine guns. You don't capture enemy fighters. You sit in an office and solve problems, budgets, logistics, barracks repairs, complaints from families, ministry inspections, audits from Moscow, and at the same time, you carry responsibility for every operation your people conduct. You personally approve every plan. You read every intelligence summary twice. You absorb every casualty as if it were your own. There's a photograph on your wall. The team you started with, 12 men. Only 4 are still alive. Sometimes you take it down and remember their voices, their habits, the stupid jokes that once seemed so important. Then you put it back in the drawer and walk into another briefing. Last year, they summoned you to Moscow, offered a transfer to headquarters, a desk inside the aquarium, a path toward General Stars. You declined, said you were needed here. They didn't understand. Truth is, you didn't fully understand either. You just knew you couldn't sit in the capital while your people were still moving through forests and mountains. 2 more years until retirement, pension, a quiet house somewhere, silence. You try to imagine it. You can't. You've been part of this world too long. Your roots are too deep in this soil. At night, you dream the same dream. Forest, cold air, the smell of gunpowder. The ones who didn't return are walking beside you. They don't speak. They just move forward, and you move with them. You wake up in a cold sweat, heart racing, outside the window, only wind moving through the trees. You stand, walk to the glass, and look at the forest. The same forest they walked into. The same forest not all of them walked out of. The same forest that became more than home. Morning comes. New day. New tasks. New young faces arriving at the unit, looking at you with hope and fear. You look back at them and see the ones who never returned. That's how you live.